Yes, we've got lucky, and Hukumuri has come back to finish off the remains of Tingana's bushbuck kill. Now, for some of you that may not make sense, but basically the animal that this leopard is currently feeding on was initially killed by another big male leopard who's currently being pushed out of his territory by this individual that we're looking at here. And interestingly, it was initially hyena that stole the kill from the first leopard, and then this guy came in and somehow managed to get the kill away from the hyena. The two leopard were not actually seen interacting, but I've got a strong feeling that the other male, who initially had the kill stolen, was watching from a distance but decided not to get into this individual's way. So some interesting views here. It may be a little bit gruesome for some of you, but at the end of the day, it is just a wild animal having its dinner, and it's also, importantly, chomping through quite a lot of the carcass, indicating that they will eat just about everything they physically can. Nothing goes to waste, and what this leopard can't finish, the hyena will come in and crunch through. What the hyena can't finish, well, then the smaller decomposers will come along. Nicole, yes, this leopard has got some magnificent eyes, and they certainly do give me a little bit of a chill when he does stare at us. He's quite a mean-looking individual. Certainly quite a lot more mean than the beautiful young male that we saw a little bit earlier. Wonderful stuff. Well, what a great evening it's been. I can't also believe, another thing that I can't believe is how close Tumba is, or was, at least this young male leopard that we were with prior to this individual, from where we are here. I would say a quarter of a mile. So not far at all. And imagine if Tumba stumbles onto the scene here. That will provide us with some great insights into what goes on between a more established dominant male and a much younger male who's not quite vying for dominance yet. Matt, you'd like to know how common is it for a leopard to steal kill from hyenas? And I've seen it happen fairly often, but it's usually the hyena that steals from the leopard first, and then the leopard lingers nearby, knowing that they may have a chance to snipe in and reclaim the kill for themselves. So that's kind of more often than not what happens, but I guess there may have been the odd occasion where a hyena has worked hard and hunted its meal out, because they can and do that, and a leopard may have come in and stolen it, but I don't have any personal stories of that actually happening. Yeah, leopards are very cunning beasts. I've even seen a young male leopard sneaking up to a pride of lion that were all sleeping next to their kill, and this leopard was thinking about how it could try and get to the kill without being detected by the lions. Obviously very risky business, but it does go to show that they do back their stealth. Now, there's not much of this kill remaining, so it's going to be interesting to see what he gets up to. I think he's going to possibly move off by the end of the safari and maybe take us for a drink, but only time will tell. Child of the Universe, you would like to know if I think Tumba can possibly smell the kill from where he is. Look, a quarter of a mile is quite a long way off to pick up the sense of something that's not really that big and or pungent. I mean, look, the bushbuck obviously does smell. But I would guess no. I would guess that where we left him was simply too far away. You'd have to come quite close by, and more importantly, and something that's going to be difficult for me to gauge exactly, is that the wind would need to be blowing in the perfect direction. If any leopard or hyena or any animal walked within 2 meters of this kill but had the wind in the wrong direction, blowing in the wrong direction, it wouldn't be able to smell it, even if it was that close. So It's something that's important for us to remember, is that even though the animal's senses are incredible, you will get these scenarios where, you know, the most ultimate senses are simply just in the wrong spot to pick up the smells or sounds, and therefore may oversee situations like this. If Tumba could smell it, and he did come close by, he would be incredibly cautious, because he knows full well that there could well be another predator around. At the moment, this individual's chewing, which will be audible to Tumba, and I think we'd be very lucky to even spot him if he did come in and sneak around and have a look here, because he would be on extra high alert and super stealthy. I also wonder where Tingana's ended up. So lots of variables, and Tundi, a female leopard with a young cub. Sadly, we've been a bit distracted this afternoon and not actually worked the areas where we were expecting to get lucky with her. But I guess that's what happens when wild dogs are on the property and other male leopards popping up. What a pleasure. Kermie, you would like to know how often leopards need to eat? It's a very tricky question to answer, because they can have a big meal, like an impala, all to themselves, and they'll take maybe 2 or 3 days to complete it. And once they've fed on an impala for 2 or 3 days solid, they'll easily be able to go for 5 days without having another meal. But on the other end of the spectrum, they could catch a scrub hare every day for a week, and that would keep them going. So yeah, there's no set answer, but you kind of get how and why it's difficult to answer that question. It would be a really wonderful statistic to be able to work out if you could follow a leopard closely enough to know its every single meal and have an accurate way of guessing how much meat they actually consumed from that meal. It would be absolutely fascinating. We, again, spend hours out here every single day, and we don't have a clue. I mean, so much happens without us knowing. I cannot emphasize. So it's it's tricky to know the answer, even though we do spend a lot of time with these animals. So much happens when we are not about. Well, there wasn't much remaining of this kill, but he's kind of doing his best to nibble off all the last little bits and pieces. You can see how he also uses his tongue, which is kind of like sandpaper. It will also assist in licking off little bits of flesh. Oh, looks like the ears are next on the menu. Okie dokie, well, we haven't had any luck finding Tundi, a female leopard, like I said a bit earlier, but Steve has just stumbled upon some tracks that he would like to show you. Who knows, maybe it's her.